Welcome back. It's, we're in the lobby. Okay, Bly's finally raced up and he's ready to go. It is Bly versus GuMiho in a best of 5. Third match of the day. The plan was to do 2 groups on my end of the stream, and then Rifkin does 2 groups on his end, split it half and half, just like yesterday. But, there's been a lot of delays. So, what else is new? Alright, it's on the grounds once again. In the top right, as the Red Terran, he is Sidestar Gaming's GuMiho. In the bottom right is the Blue Zerg. He is Team Experts Bly. Got a bit of a bit war going, so thank you very much. You guys should be combating for the bits. As, the person who is the bit boss at the end of my stream will be getting a portrait code for the Hell to Boot Time portrait in StarCraft 2. The second rarest portrait code available. First being, I think, the community member one, but, don't remember. It's still a bit of ways off, though, so... Be patient. Alright, Bly versus GuMiho. Interesting matchup here. GuMiho did just 3-0 mana. Bly 3-1 Xanster. So I haven't played a ZVT yet. I talked a little bit about Bly's ZVT just by mentioning that he goes for 2-base Spire. And he does like his Mutilating Bling. But he also does Roaches. You know, like he's actually been back and forth in his entire career about being mostly Roaches or mostly Mutas. I mean, when Nidus Worms were super, super popular, this guy was on the forefront every single time. Always going for Roaches, always threatening with a Nidus Worm. He's backed off from that since then, as everyone else has. He just kind of lasted the longest. But we'll see on Honor Grounds. It's going to be unfavorable positions for Bly. It's kind of funny. Like, I mean, usually positions are somewhat important, and you got to consider it when you find out where your opponent is, for sure. But on Honor Grounds especially, if you get these positions, or the exact same positions on the left side, the point is like vertical, whoever's in the bottom is just going to have a tough time. Whether it's against Zerg, or Protoss, or Terran, every one of them has a drop option, and Zerg players even are getting like more and more on board with like drop overlords if they see an opportunity, so yeah, it can suck. Bly's probably going to hold off on taking that base from maybe the 4th? Either the 3rd or the 4th. Probably not much longer than that. Here he comes in here just to be annoying. Ah! Miss Micro right there. Loses 2 drones. That's not... It's very critical to say, but it's not supposed to happen like this. 3rd one almost went down even. Damn. That would have been bad. He's probably going to go after it again. Speed was delayed, so... Could go for it. For now, I'm just going to see if the 3rd base is ever taken, but like I said, it's possible the 3rd base is taken over here. Certainly that's something that people, Zergs do against Protoss. Overlord did not expect Marines this quickly. Upside daisy. 50-50. I guess he anticipated the factory being added on? Oh, I don't know. I think Bly just went a little too deep to see if there's a second barracks, which there is, so it's a 2-1-1, and then wasn't able to escape. So, what can you do? 3rd base is taken out here. Ling's finally gonna be able to clean up this Reaper as Speed is about to finish. There you go. Last grenade thrown down before I die. Maybe it'll get something. Reactor, there we go. So, Bly gets a Evolution Chamber right here. Just a single one, in a very odd position, too. Just like screaming to be focus fired. So probably gonna be for that +1 Carapace that we'll be seeing a lot. It doesn't help with the first attack, but timed correctly, it should help with the second, along with the Baneling Nest. Yeah, there we go. And it really is just about waiting to see how GuMiho's first 2 drops do. If he goes directly to the front, or he drops into the now open natural that he knows is open. I mean, if there's a 3rd base here, sure, that means there's drones here for killing, but at least that also means there might be a Spore Crawler or 2. No base, the most is going to happen is Bly's going to see the attack incoming, which is still important. He has speedlings, he can react very quickly. But, you know, if he reacts just a tiny little bit slow and the army fully unloads, it's gonna be bad news. There's really not a lot of creeps out at the front either, and GuMiho has done a switcheroo. He is not going for double medevacs at a time. He is going for one medevac at a time with reactored Hellions. The Lings, I don't know if they saw the Hellions. GuMiho noticeably tries to hide them, and I don't think he could see that there's only one medevac that popped out either. So, fortunately, Bly only with Lings is going to have a tough time dealing with those Hellbats. GuMiho has been preferring this version of the 2-1-1, but Bly hasn't played GuMiho in a while. Marines don't even stim here to help clean this up. Don't even have to. Balinus is on the way, but this is trying to time out with the second attack. It's not going to time out well at all with the Hellbats. But the Hellbats are a little bit behind. Well, it doesn't matter. Lynx will get there. Queen's trying to take care of it, but they can take care of the Hellbats. They can't take care of the Marines. Drones are pulled, and this already seems like it's going to be game over. Bly just totally unprepared for what GuMiho was really, really planning. Oh, yeah, it's game. Their base is on the way, on location. Bly desperately trying to get a couple of Lings out, but the Hellbats will make sure that'll never, ever help. Desperate Spine Crawler as well. Bly, you know, it's one of those things where you actually have the resources, like the money and the larva, to defend if you knew it was incoming, but the whole point of Zerg, I guess, in general, right, is to try and find that balance that is on a very thin line of just barely defending so you can get the maximum economy behind it. Well, it certainly backfires if you don't anticipate Hellbats. Game number 1 goes very quickly to GuMiho. GuMiho might just be breezing through this group. Things continue like this. This is the winner's best of 5, so whoever wins this is done for the day. GuMiho almost didn't make it, you know, considering that he thought that he was the last group to play. That would have meant that he would have been asleep eventually, thinking that he has to, you know, wake up early and play in a European Cup, but he actually is thankfully still awake. It's 9 p.m. in Korea, so it's really not that bad, and he should be awake, but there's like that chance, and he wasn't paying attention, and he was out having a couple drinks, something like that, as it is Saturday night in Korea. But here and now is just breezing through so far. 3-0, now at 1-0 here. Next up is going to be Proxima. And Bly's going to be a little bit more on guard about that tricky build. Certainly one to throw out, especially if you are known for 2-on-1s, the usual 2-on-1s, or just as like a, you know, throw out the first game and really try and catch him off guard. GuMiho, I would say at this point, isn't even like a 2-on-1 beast. Like, Beyond saw a lot of 2-on-1s, but even he, like, transferred over into factories for a lot of it. I think GuMiho has been lately doing a lot more factories. Most Terrans have been doing a lot more factories, as the 2-on-1 isn't what it used to be. But there's a lot of good things to be said about that build. See what happens on Proxima. In the top right is the blue Terran. He is GuMiho. In the bottom left is the red Zerg. He is Bly. Oof. GuMiho had a nice start last game too with the Reaper. I forgot about that. But that was just a surprising build. There's really not much else to say. Bly just needed to have more units anticipated. Scout it. His Overlord had died and he didn't bother re-scouting. Well, he tried, I guess, with the Lings, but it was just barely ill-timed. Just barely didn't see those Hellions. Because you see Hellions, after seeing a 2-1-1 start, then you know it's going to be Hellbats. Like, there's really no doubt about it. But he was trying very hard to just only defend against 16 Marines, not additional 4 Hellbats. Although, really, with how quickly he got slaughtered by the Marines, I wonder if he also would have under-defended against a regular 2-1-1. Might be able to see if that's the case in this game, but we still don't know what GuMiho's up to. Looks like he is getting regular opener right now, but, you know, remains to be seen if he's going to get a factory. Hatchery, pool, makes sense. Bly going for the natural at the front, too. Makes a lot of sense on Proxima. Third base coming down pretty quickly after that. As expected. Unfortunately for Bly, there's not too much you can do with early pools. Against a Terran player, especially. Against a Protoss player, sure. Against a Zerg player, obviously. As a Terran player, especially on a map like Proxima, not so much. I mean, they're going to have wall-offs, potentially, and they're going to have a Reaper, which just trumps most things. So, I'm sure if you know, especially if all 5 games are played, Bly will one game go for a pool first and try the old, you know, switcheroo. 2 lings at first, then 10 lings, and then maybe even a speedling all-in type deal. But not this game. Not now. And you get a Black Panther for the 200 bits to save esports and support Apollo's toy budgets. He has plenty of toys. It's really, like, Nugget is, like, the most kittenish kitten I've ever had. She always wants to play. She's a little peculiar about how you handle her, but she always wants to play. She's always running around. She's always, like, flopping everywhere, too. Like, I swear she's pigeon-toed. And her limbs are just, like, not connected to her body, and it's just constantly flailing. And she has, you know, no respect for personal boundaries. She's always trying to steal your food. Apollo's a little respectful guy. Yeah, he is. Yes, you are. Alright, the Reaper gets 1 drone. 2 lings. Not too shabby, as it is still alive. No gas. I guess I didn't really make note of that, but now taking the gases. So no speed whatsoever. I mean, the later speed last game cost him quite a few drones, in fact. A bit of a headache. It is a Hellion opener first, followed by Widow Mines, but factory being the key here. Medevac without a tech lab. I mean, it could have been a Viking, but considering the prevalence of Hellion drops and Widow Mine drops / run-bys, like, I think Bly is gonna assume it's a Medevac. Overlord barely lives. That's nice. He's probably already compensating for the loss. Hellion's pushed off by a single queen, as it is only 2. There has to be some worry when you see that it's not a Banshee follow. Even if it's a Banshee follow-up, even if it's a Tech Lab follow-up, you gotta worry that there's an armory somewhere building, ready to build Hellbats. So Bly tries to duck in again, see if that starport had changed over. That's funny, looks like there's 2 starports, but he knows it's only the 1. So he doesn't quite know if it's Banshees or not, but considering it was a Medevac first, I think it's most likely going to be a Raven after that. Widowmine drop into that main base. Pretty late in the response. Desperately tries to do something with it, but still 8 drones is pretty nice. 4 Hellions going to that natural, third, yeah, well, it's a natural, I guess, now. Medevac doesn't even die as the Queens try and focus fire it, aren't paying attention to the Hellions. No Speedlings to help this out either. This is so much damage. Bly, up to almost 20 drones lost. This is actually game over type of damage. And behind this, GuMiho, sure, he's a little late to his production. 500 minerals in the bank right now, but he's gonna get to it eventually. Command center down, gas is down, stim down. He has 2 Ravens, I think. He's gonna go for 2 Ravens. Ornaments are cleaned up, but damn. Yeah, I think he's gonna have 2 Ravens, and they can just continue to harass, and even 4 drone kills at a time is gonna be brutal for someone who just lost 24 drones overall. It's gonna be a huge dip in the economy. Bly, oh my god. There you go. There you go, and because the Queen, it's not even soaking up the shots from the freaking auto turret. 5 drones go down, and this Raven knows it has nothing to oppose it as long as it dodges out the Queens. A lair is only just finishing up soon. Stim is not even halfway done. That's like the good news. Alright, the production was delayed to do this, but it is on the way in 3rd CC as well, and Bly just can't do very much about it. Is the bit boss updating? Or is it just delayed? It's maybe it's broken. Well, I'll try and fix that after this game if I remember. Just refreshing it. Interesting. Okay, yeah. I'll fiddle with it later. Armory's on the way as the upgrades are almost about halfway done. Infestation Pit on the way for Bly. Ravens just dive on in, looking for as many drone kills as possible. They're going to get 6. And the Ravens still live for another run by. This is absolutely brutal. Bly's finally gotten to a point where he's at least up in drones, but he should be a lot more and already comfortable. I like the infestation bit just because I think it's I think that it's a desperation move that can help you out, whether you're going to go for corrosive biofungals or try desperately to get to a hive. I mean, I think Roach Infester has the highest chance nowadays to come back in a game, even more so than like Muta Snowballs, although both can be brutal. But I'm not so sure about fast ultras. Like, there's a certain point of too much damage where even fast ultras just won't be worth it. You know? Like, if you get a little damage early on and you try to get to ultras and you manage to get there and you have, like, 5 with chitinous plating, like, that's good. Like, that's going to get you back into the game because it can last a very long time. If you take 30 drone losses before, like, 7 minutes, I don't think you're going to have enough ultras with enough upgrades to really even matter. Infester is desperately on the way now. +1 Carapace not even done for this. Raven's leading the charge too with auto turrets. Brutal. Just the slaughter. Queens dying everywhere. Ling's gonna go down soon enough. Trying to focus fire the Raven's down. Finally does get one, but another auto turret comes down, helping out these Marines that have almost all of their upgrades. They are missing combat shields, but it doesn't matter. Spy now down 50 supply. Widowmine's coming forward. Infester immediately sniped. Didn't even have enough energy for a fungal, so it wasn't really helpful. Yeah, Infested Terrans. Marines are pretty OP. That'll work. So, there it is. Good game. GuMiho takes 2-0. This could be the last game in the series. I'm going to insert a break here, so we'll be back in 2 minutes. Came back in the game. Looks like BitBoss has recovered to fix itself. And get a Black Panther for a few more bits. It's potentially the last game in this series. The winner of this will just be done for the day and feel great about himself. The loser will have to go to the decider match. In the bottom left is the Red Terran. He is GuMiho. In the bottom right is the blue Zerg. It is Bly. Bly taking the time to tweet in between games while he's waiting in the lobby, saying that Korean Terran pushes are just simply different than Europeans. Next level. Yeah, I guess so. You know, and in that last game, it wasn't really the Marine push, because I think that's what we think of when we think of pushing, as so much as it was the combination Widowmine drop and Hellions. I think some of that is less about, like, the timings and, like, you know, the effectiveness of a Korean Terran, which is, you know, Korean Terrans do well, European, North American Terrans not so much, like, whatever. But anyways, I think it was a lot also to do with the fact that Bly was only thinking about the Hellions and, like, whether or not it was going to be a Hellbat push, and probably didn't realize that Widowmines had popped out. I was talking about how Hellion drops are more popular, so to anticipate a medevac, I thought would have been in Bly's mind, but he might not have, and then beyond that, he might not have thought that there was a Widowmine drop. Because Hellions, they don't unload in your mineral line. They unload, and then they go into the mineral line. So, it's a very, you know, it's a different response, different way of thinking. Well, I mean, I don't want to repeat the same thing, but basically, just like last game, about the game before that, if Bly can just not be caught off guard, then I'm sure he has a decent macro game in him. More than decent. I know Bly's well known for his early game aggression, but really his aggression can, you know, form into very impressive macro games, especially if he gets to mutilating Bling. But he just hasn't been able to get there. Either there's been Hellbat attacks, or there's been Widowmine drops combined with Hellions that just kill all of his economy. And what do you really do after losing like 28 drones? Not a lot. It's hard recovery. Overlord gets a freebie scout, sees the factory on the way. We're going to try and get a drone kill. It was successful in the last 2 games. It is successful once again. 1 drone goes down. Lings could follow. First game, speed was delayed. This game, I think speed a little bit delayed too, but not as much. And then the last game, it just wasn't even taken, so that helped the Hellions deal the damage that it did. Bly, not going to go for that same greed, is getting decently timed speed, but it still is a question of, do you have the units in the right position? Do you have enough units as well? Although, to be honest, Hellions are like, I mean, they're kind of like that Pac-Man in that comic, or that animation, like, don't touch me. Because if you have any amount of units on a Hellion, the fact that it has to stop and shoot in a diagonal really, like, doesn't... Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's beautiful when the Lings line up, but sometimes it just, like, looks really stupid. Okay. This is a Tech Lab starport, kind of scouted. Okay, we know he uses Abathur now. So he might be thinking Banshee, might be surprised to see that his Viking pops out and kills his Overlord. That's, you know, always a risk you gotta take as a Zerg player when you send your Overlords across the map. Sometimes a Viking will come and kill it. But the scary thing is that if he thinks, okay, he goes in there, good. I was gonna say, if he thinks it's like a barracks with Tech Lab on it, and it's just like a faster stim follow-up, then he might have not, well, done a very good job against the potential Banshees. But it's a Liberator. Okay, alright. None of these units needed a Tech Lab. I imagine he'll use that Tech Lab eventually, but an Armory's on the way, and it's going to be a Hellbat attack. The Vikings will take care of the Overlord. The Viking will take care of all the Overlords. Hopefully Supply Block Bly does a little bit there, and will stop Bly from seeing the Hellbat transformation, or the Armory, until it's way too late. Only Lings available here, and not even in impressive amounts. 1-1 starts up. Liberator is not seen by this Overlord, but I guess the Overlord is not going to die to the Viking, because it isn't seen either. Hellbats transform. This Overlord does see it now. That's the oh shit moment. Oh shit. Vikings gonna take out another Overlord while the Liberators he just in the main base, and all of the Queens have been pulled to try and deal with this. What he thought was only Hellions turned out to be Hellbats, so he's got to have a very, very good spread of Queens. He's got to have more Queens and more TPS though, and more Transfuses. They're gonna have one apiece almost here, but it took a long time. I don't think he ever recognized. Maybe he did pull a little bit, but that's a lot of drones going down. More drones going down in the natural. Didn't pull quite fast enough. And so many drones have been killed yet again. Tearing down Blah to 29 drones. All of his Vikings dying. Liberator still not quite cleaned up as it moves away with a little bit of health left over. Banshee follow-up. Mech follow-up from GuMiho. He has been playing Mech on Newkirk occasionally. And Bly is in a world of hurt. He's finally getting his lair, and he will have upgrades for his Lings. But Lings against Mech is not exactly what you want to be getting. They're cool supplements, but they're not, you know, upgrade to the who the hell cares. It's gonna be like flames of fire in your face. Liberator even helps clear up these damn Overlords. How many Overlords have died? 5? 5. Oof, that's pretty good. Banshee is successfully thwarted, as enough Queens were saved / made. But Bly really doesn't have any opportunity to punish GuMiho, although surprisingly gets in here with a couple of Lings. Complicates things for GuMiho. But more Hellions are on the way. Hellions are not really a concern. I mean, as long as you have any that are about to pop out, it's fine to lose them. They're only minerals, and they're reactored. But yeah, like, oh shit, I don't think Bly realized that it's Mech. Oh, he didn't. Oh no. I mean, you know, he's probably assuming that the Tech Lab on the starport was a fake, or no, he saw the Banshee, never mind. Well, I think seeing like a Viking, then a Liberator, then a Banshee, although I guess it doesn't have Cloak, so that's kind of where maybe the mystery is. If he wasn't in such a panic state, he might be like, wait a second, could it possibly be Mech? But he's not thinking about it, he's not scouting for it. The Thor drop's gonna be such a big surprise. GuMiho knows the lair was delayed, so there's not gonna be a Spire. And then Bly further delays a potential Spire by going for a Baneling Nest, thinking that there's gonna be a follow-up Marine push. Big surprise, Thor's drop in here. Can Bly even handle this? I mean, Lings are pretty good against Thors, and they're upgraded, but like, you need like a lot of Lings, and usually some support beyond that. So, This is bad news. Overseer finally gets in here and confirms that it's mech. The two Thors didn't, but that took so long. If he had gone for Aspire, that really would have been the worst thing in the world. Aspire can do okay against a mech player, especially if it's early enough. Thor's gonna go down. Not bad. But he went for Baneling Nest, and that's like not helpful at all. And if he went for Aspire now, clearly GuMiho would have the defenses necessary that, you know, 8 or 10 mutas really wouldn't be that big of a deal. Roach Roaring on the way. At least he has that Carapace upgrade for him. And that's what he dedicated to for the second upgrade. But damn. Two things happening for Bly. 1, creep spread. 2, upgrades. But nothing else. Down in workers, even as he got back up to 65. Huge. Oh god, so down in army supply. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Attempts to get to an infestation pit, most likely for storm hosts, but he's not going to be able to get to them. He's not going to be able to get a lot of them. GuMiho, this is like in a regular game where you haven't already gotten us to like a huge lead. This is a very ragtag group of units to be sending forward on creep. But he knows, GuMiho knows his position. Scans ahead, still sees no army. Finally a couple roaches pop out, so he knows roaches are available, but they're just not here. Third base goes down. Instant transfer of the drones at the very least. Fourth base is ready to no. I was gonna say ready to mine, but that was very scary. How about it's picked up? Viking still taking out overlords. Stop, Viking, stop. 2-2 now on the way for GuMiho. So even while this attack doesn't kill Bly, it really, you know, it's what's the difference? Can Bly really bring this game back? He holds on with an emergency roach reinforcement, and oh, I really thought he was gonna go for swarm hosts, considering how many complaints there are from the very few mech players we have still left over about swarm hosts. You would think that that would be the way to go, but no, it's a hive. I mean, there's also complaints about vipers. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. But I don't know. It's tricky. Swarm hosts, not as expensive as they used to be, not as much supply as used to be either, but I guess getting a lot of them would be difficult. Good. But Vipers, they really need support, obviously. They're a support unit. They need something to kill whatever they abduct or whatever, you know, is left out of the blinding cloud, so we'll see how it goes. If Bly can get maxed with a handful of Vipers that do successfully get couple blinding clouds down, then he has a shot in this game. That's a long ways off. Viper's good enough, but his max out's not gonna happen anytime soon. Nice little roach run by. Does get 12 SCVs, now putting them at even workers. Nope, just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, barbecue. $18 drones. An entire mineral line goes down. All of the drones that he desperately tried saving from that destroyed third just went down. And he's stuck at 44. He has a bank, but it looks like his larva's a little bit low. So I guess that'll be the first thing that he replaces. Viper's on the way. Hydralis Tech on the way too. Upgrade on the way. A lot of factories. Transfer over to Cyclones is a bit odd. I think it's unnecessary. I don't want to say it's cheeky or like a joke, but it does look very odd. It's usually that you either start off with a small amount of Cyclones very early on in the game, or a decent amount in the mid-game, and you might transfer back over into tanks and Thors. So to see them not show themselves at all until 12 minutes into the game is weird. I mean, I don't think there are response. I'm not a mech player myself, and I don't watch a lot of mech players. I don't think there are response to blinding clouds, but they can move out of them, whereas tanks have a bit more difficult of a time. Oh, but the Thors are actually getting great shots on the Vipers. So I think Bly started off with 6. He only manages to get a single parasitic bomb off. Duh. Not much else to say. Just watching a mech army just absolutely roll over a very, very small Zerg one. Obliterated. Upgrades are even in favor of GuMiho now. 2-2 to just the 2 for Roach Ravager. GuMiho gets to have a nice, comfortable bedtime tonight as he 3-0s both of his opponents and wins his group. GG. Now, Bly is not out of it. He just goes to the decider match. Will be up against the winner of Xanster and Mana, and that best of 5 is coming up next. So, back over to Europe. Hopefully they get their vetoes done lickety-split. We'll be back when it's ready.